I want to say this because for some people, it's a bit overwhelming. I think you need to know everything that concerns data to manage a data automation project. That's not true.
I don't code. I have some knowledge about it, but I don't write code. I'm not a very technical person, too deep. I can be, but I'm not. Currently. Just so you know that my role in itself is not the most technical job in the world. There are lots of options.
Start with the basics. The network.
Choose networking and operating
systems. Know your Linux, know your Windows, depending on which one you want to specialize in.
Hello, welcome back to my channel, and if you're joining for the first time, this is Tech with Timi, and today we're going to be doing something really exciting. So I'm going out and I'm going to be interviewing some of my friends that work in tech. So the catch is these guys are not software engineers, they are not programmers. So in case you're there wondering that I want to work in tech but I don't want to be a software engineer, or I want to work in tech, but I don't want to do like the core technical stuff. What can I do in tech? So today I'm going to be showing you real people. So I'm going to be asking them what they do in tech, what kind of skills do they need on the job, and what should I be learning if I want to do something like what you're doing. So guys, come with me. Let's meet these really cool guys doing really cool stuff in tech and are not core programmers. Come on, guys. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, Timi Omoya.
So, Timi, nice to meet you.
Meet you too.
So, what do you do, Timi?
The official title is systems engineer, and I've worked at Cisco, and now I work at Apple in their B2B division.
So, systems engineer, you say?
Yes.
So, what's systems engineer like? What do you do as a systems engineer, basically?
Yeah, so the word means different things to different people, but in the two companies that I've worked for, the role of a systems engineer is the role of a trusted advisor to end customers, right, before they make buying decisions.
Okay.
So my job consists of, talking with IT stakeholders about deploying big technologies, right, offer. So they're not educated about how to deploy, how to manage Apple technology, for example. Demoing it to them, explaining the benefits to them, convincing CIOs, CTOs, removing technical barriers and blockers in organizations, right? Helping them understand that. So that's the role in a nutshell.
Nice. So basically, you convince the big boys to bring Apple products into their company, or use Apple services.
Yes, exactly. So at Cisco and at Apple, that's what I've been doing, demonstrating the business value of the products.
Okay, cool. So what are the core skills you use at a job?
Yeah. So
what are your core tools?
Yeah. So core skills is, it's people is the first part, right? Because they sales.
Okay.
So there is a lot of knowing how to interact with people and knowing how to offer value to them, knowing, so the people is a core part of the job. The next part is knowing how to communicate well, right?
Okay.
So your ability to communicate to C-level, something that is super complex.
Okay.
So you need to know how to do temperature checks, who they are talking to, and know how to communicate the value that will resonate with each stakeholder. So communication, people skills. And then the third part I would say is having good technical background as well, because as an engineer, I'm talking to a CIO, you need to, the confidence comes from the knowledge of technology that you have. So having a solid, technical background to start with helps you then, add communication on top of it, add the sales skills on top of it. I can now be a consultant and work in an advisory role. So that's kind of core skills: communication, technology, people.
So I want to apply for this kind of role. What do you want to see on my CV to consider me for the job? Or what do I need to bring for you to consider? Or if I want to get into the role, what should I be learning? What should be on my CV, basically?
So the first thing that needs to be on your CV that you need to be able to demonstrate is, from an engineering background, you need to have a good technology stack. It's more about breadth and depth, really.
What kind of stack?
So different things, right? So the two companies I worked for, I was actually taught for 1 year how to do different things, right? Things around networking, for example, right? Things around security, things around the cloud, all right? Things around software development. So it's having a broad range of knowledge, not in any, nothing too deep, but having a broad range of knowledge about all of these different technologies that are in the industry. Because if you're working in an enterprise environment, technologies interact with one another, and you have to have a good understanding of different technologies to be able to advise well, right? So that's the first thing. And then you could have depth in one or two. right?
Okay.
So that's the first thing that we would like to see. The next part that we would like to see, obviously, is because it's a people job, you need to know how to interact with people, right? You would have to have track record around, communicating business value of a product, right? Whether it's doing briefings, whether it's doing demos, or whether it's doing big sessions at, events and things like this. So the more you can demonstrate that you can talk to people and, translate business technology to business value, right, is something that we are usually looking out for. And I would say the third thing that many times engineers forget is the sales bit, right? So having that, let's say, sales hunger around wanting people to adopt your technology, right? Obviously based off of value, not just because you're pushy, right? So having that sales lingo, the sales background, the sales context, because at the end of the day, we work in pairs. As systems engineer, we work in pairs with the accounting.
Okay.
So you need to know how to understand sales, understand how it works, understand what motivates people to buy and things like this, right? So that people aspect is what we would like to see on your CV.
Thank you, Timi. So any final word for my subscribers, someone that's considering, because we are scared you don't want to do programming jobs and want to explore the options that doesn't involve programming in the tech world. Any final word for my subscribers?
Sure. I can share some. The first thing to say is that, it's a big world out there. Right? I don't code. I have some knowledge about it, but I don't write code. Yeah. I'm not a very technical person, too deep. I can be, but I'm not. Currently. Just so you know that my role in itself is not the most technical job in the world. That's the first thing to know. So there are lots of options. Technology, right? The second thing that I wanted to say regarding final words is growth never happens in your comfort zones. So to get into the world of IT, there's a level of discomfort that comes with whether it's a technical job or a non-technical job. So learning always there's some challenge. So you need to be ready to expose yourself to whatever challenges come and be okay being inconvenienced a little bit to learn and get ahead, right? So those are the two things I'll say. There is a big world out there, but it's never big things will never come in an easy way, right? So you need to be comfortable with discomfort. That's how you grow as a person.
Some really valuable advice there. Thank you so much, Timi. It's so nice to see you and my subscribers. We are grateful to have you. Thank you and bye.
Bye.
Hi. What's your name?
My name is Leah.
Leah, nice to meet you, Leah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Leah, what do you do?
I am a project manager.
Project manager, nice. Okay. So, what do you do as a project manager?
Well, you boss people around.
Okay.
I'm joking, but basically what that is you're managing resources and resources in terms of finance, resources in terms of labor, and resources in terms of procured services. And you are basically managing all these three resources for a specific goal, for an objective, usually called a project. What is a project? A project basically just brings about transformation, right? It needs to change something from the as-is state to the desired state. So it could be a product launch, it could be data automation, maybe migration as well from one software to the other, moving your team from, Slack to Teams, for example. Your life is a project. So honestly, project management is a job, but it's also everyday skill.
Interesting. I'm a newbie to tech. I want to apply for the project management role. What do you want to see on my CV? What kind of skills should I have for this role?
I want to say this because for some people, it's a bit overwhelming. I think you need to know everything that concerns data to manage a data automation project. That's not true. But you need to be able to learn how to manage people, how to manage the resources that is entrusted into your hands for that project. And you need to know how to communicate. And part of communicating effectively is also listening. So you learn how to communicate, but also how to receive feedback. And then you are basically on top of things running according to schedule. So you have time management skills. So if you've heard everything I've said, it's basically everyday life skills, communication, listening skills, people management skills, and just soft skills in terms of how to work with people, how to understand difficult situations, conflict resolution. So those are the basic transferable skills that you should have as a human being based on everything you've done across board. And once you have that, it's easier to sell other things. For your CV, I think you should concentrate on looking at some of the things that you've handled that are projects, but that you might have taken for granted. That really, really helps because it helps you boost people's acceptance of your authority in a certain field. If you either have the experience in it or you have the credentials. in it. When I wanted to pivot and really get some type of authority in my field, what did I do? I took the PMP. That is the certification that's called the Project Management Professional with the PMI, Project Management Institute. You don't have to take that certification, but did it help? It did a whole lot. And it really has changed how you're perceived in that field. Yeah. Not only in terms of perception, but also in terms of your credibility you have as a person. So I would say get some certifications. It's very easy. You go on Udemy, you can get free materials there. You go on LinkedIn. There's basically, even on YouTube, there's basically a lot of information. And then you start looking at some of the things you've already done. Did you manage an event for your church? That's sometimes in project management. Did you manage a business? What results did you get? No matter how small it is, it's all about wording and perception. If you look at the experiences you've had, it's almost always available to be used as project management experience.
Awesome. So I'm a newbie. I want to come into project management. So what do you have for me?
I would say it's always harder thinking about it than the actual doing. Why? Because it's mindset. If you actually just commit to starting something, the more you take every day at a time, the more you say, oh, this is not as hard as I thought. So my point is, the Bible says in Philippians 4:13, I'm a Christian, that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens and empowers. In the Amplified Version. And it says, I am self-sufficient in Christ's sufficiency. So you already have the skills. You just haven't honed it in a certain way or with project management in mind. Now that you know that, it's easier to get into it. So I would say just do it. No, like Nike says, just do it.
So Leah says go for it. So thank you so much, Leah. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye. Hi. What's your name?
My name is Bunkunmi.
Nice to meet you, Bunkunmi. Okay, so what do you do, Bunkunmi?
I'm a security engineer.
Security engineer.
Working in cybersecurity, EDR specifically.
What's EDR?
Endpoint detection and response.
Endpoint detection and response. Okay, that's some technical stuff. In very, very basic terms, like what's the role about? What do you do? Like, is it like, are you the guy that fends off all the bad guys from hacking our system? In simple terms.
Okay. Basically, we put measures in place to the bad guys.
You put measures in place to keep the bad guys away. Okay.
Measures will mean we install solutions, install tools that help us to detect anomaly.
Okay.
Suspicious behaviors on those endpoints.
Okay.
And when we deploy, we do configuration, we make rules and detection policies to ensure that those activities that are not exactly allowed do not occur on the system. There's also another level where we can do like a management, a policy management part where, for example, if you don't want USB devices installed, used in your environment and configure on those solutions and let USB devices not be accepted. So just plug it on.
So like you put the policies in place, basically. Okay, nice. So what should be on my CV if I want to apply for this role? Or what should I be learning basically for me to become a security engineer?
Okay. Being a security engineer is not the basics of cybersecurity.
Okay.
Right? It's like I grew into this. So there's the basics. And cybersecurity is generally built on 2 or 3 things. Number 1 is knowledge of operating systems.
Operating systems.
2 is knowledge of networks.
Networking. Okay.
So if you have a solid understanding and background of networking, solid understanding of operating systems, then it's a good place for you to start. Right?
Nice.
A lot of people, I for one, I started from the SOC. By SOC, I mean Security Operations Center.
Okay.
Right? Where I do a lot of monitoring, a lot of events investigation, alert triaging, and all that stuff. So with time, I grew into what I do currently. So if you want to be a security engineer, I would say start with the basics. The network.
Choose networking and operating
systems. Know your Linux, know your Windows, depending on which one you want to specialize in.
Okay.
Then after that, you can now begin to take specialized courses on solutions that are used in the EDR world.
Nice. Thank you. Any final word?
Security is a world of other possibilities, right? Limitless possibilities.
Limitless, yeah. Okay.
There is a whole lot of things you can learn and do. And I'll also say that you can't know or do everything. Yeah. Just pick what you want to do, know your stuff, and be good at it.
Okay, wow. That's short and really nice. Thank you so much. It's really nice to meet you, Bunkunmi, and we say thank you and bye.
Bye.